time for a short break. When we return, we spend a bit more time looking at the Nigerian economy. How does a government put money in people's pocket? How do we make it possible for Nigerians to earn an honest living? Join us after the break.
It's my birthday. On Wednesday, it's my wedding anniversary, so I'm planning something special. Oh, I almost forgot. I had a little fire in my office on Tuesday, but I had a plan for that too. Good news. Friday, I'm on leave. Sunday, my wife and I are going on vacation. What? Oh yes, I had a little car accident on Thursday. Don't worry, my plan covers that too. On Sunday, my wife and I are jetting off to the scenic mountains of Obodo Cattle Ranch.
Sometimes life doesn't care what day it is, but things are so much simpler when you have a plan, especially when it's a GT Assure plan. Choose Guaranteed Trust Assurance PLC for life and living.
Vote for nourishment. Vote for Cowbell. Cowbell.
Welcome back. You are watching the 2011 NN24 presidential debate. Now, Malam Shekarau, let me start with you for this particular section of the program. What would you do if you are elected as president to provide adequate and sufficient power supply so that the Nigerian economy can be kick-started?
Thank you very much. It is a reality that the issue of power supply is the backbone for the development of our economy. The federal government has been attempting, of course, without achieving any success so far. What I believe is that we need to address the issue seriously. I am totally for the decentralization and privatization of the power sector, and also encourage the various segments of the society, be it the private sector, the public sector, to come together and create an environment that will enable investors to come into this sector. This has been said, but it has never been practicalized. That is why up to today, a number of states, including my state, we have done a lot of effort to bring in investors into this sector, but the various cumbersomeness of the process, the procedure. Remember, the federal government, that is the power holding company, is still owning the transmission and the distribution network. So even if you bring an investor that is coming to generate energy, you have to go into discussion, which is not within our control at the state level and the private sector, about the distribution network and the transmission network. So what we need to do is to make sure this sector is totally decentralized, but before you do that, you need to bring it up a little bit so that it will attract investors to come into it.
But this is part of the plan of the present PDP government, so you're not doing anything different than from what they are doing.
It is one thing to plan, it is yet another thing to sincerely and seriously pursue the plan and execute it.
General Muhammadu Buhari, are you satisfied with what the present PDP government is doing to try and resolve the power sector issues in Nigeria?
Certainly I am not. We have to try and see where were we in 1999. How much have we spent on power from then to now? What is on the ground now? Now, we are still revolving around 4,000 megawatts. This is what we were in 1999 after spending between $12 and $16 billion. There is a very big question mark for the ruling party, the PDP, to account to Nigerians what happened to that money, because the power is not available. Our old infrastructure, Kayenji, Jebba, and the thermal stations, what is happening to them? One would have thought they would first be brought into stream properly by optimum power from them, instead of going to build another 7 thermal stations, which none is on the ground yet, as far as we know, and we are not sure where the money is. There is going to be, and there is a very big question mark on how the infrastructure has virtually collapsed.
So we understand the problems.
Yes.
How will you solve them?
The way to solve it, as far as CPC is concerned, is the thermal stations we had, which are in place, plus Kayenji, Jebba, Shiroro, we put them properly to optimum utilization by refurbishing them. And then simultaneously, the government can afford it because we have the resources for the new ones that are to come up, like Mambila Plateau, which would give at least over 3,000 megawatts in itself.
Are you prepared to give a promise to Nigerians today about the amount you would produce and within which period if you are elected as president?
When we are elected, to be frank, we have to see the problem on the ground. How much is spent? What is our capacity of production at the time we are sworn in? And what happened to all the resources put into power between 1999 and now?
Your time is up, but I have to pursue that. I can't let it go. When you say you have to see what has happened to the resources that have been put into power, are you suggesting you'll be investigating past governments?
Well, we have to find out what happened to the resources. What the statement I am making...
Can we have some silence, please? Thank you.
The statement I am making, to my understanding, is very clear. We knew where we were in 1999 when the PDP came. We will find out how much we spent up to today and how much power we have now. We know we had about 4,000 kilometers in 1999. We don't have more than that. And we have between 15 to 16 billion dollars, not naira.
Okay, thank you so much.
In between.
Thank you. Now, Malam Nuri Badu, in the generous answer, I think we can be allowed to infer that he is not totally happy with the way the funds that have been allocated to power have been spent. Do you see this as the major reason why we have an inadequate power supply, or do you think there are other issues that make it very difficult for us to get to where we're going?
You know what? Frankly speaking, it's not time of blame. The blame game should be over. We want action, we want electricity, Nigerians want to see light. And that's what we are going to do. I have 4 things that we are going to do, given the chance. First and foremost, we have to clear it and remove this confusion that is ongoing. Today in Nigeria, you don't even know who is the person in charge of our power sector. Is it the president? Is it the IPP? Is it the advisor? There are about 6, 7 agencies competing on who to control and direct our power problem and solve it. It's not possible for you to get results under this situation. We will sort it out. We will clear right. We will make one direction, and we are going to work on ensuring that Nigerians will see electricity. 2, we are going to work on the corruption part. The process. Make sure that the resources that goes in there is going to be used and that you will get results. We have seen what happened in the past. General said yes, but we spent about 10-point-something billion. In 1999, we had 2,000 megawatts. Today, we have 3,400. There is a gap. We spent over 10 billion to just generate 1,600 megawatts. There is something to ask about it. 3, on the issue of, when you are in this business, there are 3 things that are important. Production, transmission, and distribution. Today, we seem to have put so much emphasis on the production without having to pay attention to the other. All of them must come at the same time for you to be able to see electricity. 3, you have to work on the security. Security is so central. One of the fundamental reasons why we did not get light in the last 4 or 5 years is because of the sabotage taking place in that sector. There are areas where it is almost impossible for you to do anything. We have to address it. 5, you have to diversify. We cannot rely on one single sector, one single source of energy. Today, we are all talking about gas and thermal. We need to look at other areas. You have seen what is happening today. You have seen what is happening in Japan. It is dangerous for you to rely on one source. Solar can give us electricity in small areas. Hydro, in a small way, can give us electricity. We have coal. We can work on clean coal for us to do. Those are the areas that we do intend to invest, work hard, and ensure that Nigerians will get electricity within a short period of time.
Thank you very much, Malam Nuribadu. Now let me go back to Malam Shekarau. Power, of course, is just one of the infrastructural issues we have in Nigeria. There are many others. We have issues with roads. People die regularly on our roads. The impact of roads means also goods and services. People are not able to move freely and as they should. Air travel is perhaps one of the safest ways to move things in Nigeria now, but of course we know that is very expensive. I'd like to get a sense of what your party and you as president will do to sort of address the other infrastructural problems in Nigeria.
Well, I think the general problem of provision of infrastructure in Nigeria is not necessarily about the planning of what is required and what Nigerians would like to see. It is the same problem of lack of sincerity and commitment to service. We've just heard from my colleagues how much the amount of billions of dollars that the federal government, the PDP government, has sunk into the power and the energy sector, and nothing to show about it. The services are not there, the money. I think the same goes with the road infrastructure and most of the other infrastructure. When we come on board, given the chance, we are going to ensure sincerity of purpose and commitment to the service of the people and judicious management of resources. If I may give you an example quickly, this morning before I left Kano, I commissioned 150 million liters of water per day, the biggest in West Africa, and we learned there is a PDP state in Nigeria today executing the same project of the same magnitude, has so far spent 20 billion and is still not completed.
Now, if I understand it correctly, though, that project that you've made a reference to is not operating at full capacity.
It's not?
It's not operating at full capacity. That is my understanding.
No. It is not operating full capacity because of the failure of the energy, the power. We haven't enough power to mobilize all the 4 big pumps. We have to be alternating the pumps. We haven't the power to do that. We've bought generators, new generators are there, that they're not strong enough. We're now trying to tap from the major line that has passed through the state. We've taken permission from the late President Eradu has given us. We're spending over £1 billion to make the water works work. We've spent £6 billion to give people of Kano 150 million liters of water. But because of our inability to ensure a regular and reliable source of energy, we're not getting the best and the maximum services of this water supply. So all I'm saying is that most of the problem of this infrastructural provision in Nigeria is not that we haven't the human capacity, we haven't the personnel to do it. It is the problem of insincerity and corrupt practices that go into this system. And it's one of the things that we will be sure to check. And if you want to succeed in the implementation of any program, I give 5 cardinal major points. Number 1, there must be sincerity of purpose. Number 2, there must be proper planning. Number 3, you must get the right people to implement your program. Number 4, there must be judicious management of the resources. And finally, exemplary leadership in the people.
Thank you very much, Malam Shekarau. Now, I want to stay a little bit longer on the economy, and General Muhammadu Buhari, I'd like you to tell Nigerians what you would do to correct the anomaly that we see in the Nigerian budget. We just had a budget passed in which recurrent expenditure takes a disproportionate amount compared to capital expenditure. And a few months back, there was a big row because the CBN governor, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, brought this to the fore. If you are the president of Nigeria, how will you tackle this anomaly?
I think we have to go back to First Republic and start a 5-year development plan. Our state of development and the infrastructural requirement to create employment and wealth, I think, cannot be done on ad hoc basis. The poverty and the disease that are so prevalent in Nigerian society is very disappointing. To put the economy correct, we have to do the infrastructure, and we are talking about power. We have to get power, get the factories open, we get people employed, and we get the goods and services. Power is central to getting the industries once more and getting people employed.
Thank you very much, General Buhari. But I want to follow this a little bit further, because issues of recurrent expenditure are to do with over-bloated salaries of civil servants and public servants giving themselves allowances, of legislators that basically sit in the House and they get a budget and they decide they want to add a little bit more to it. And while I understand what you're saying about the Nigerian economy, these are some of the other problems. How will you deal with those things?
Well, I have already made a statement about that I will have to persuade Nigerian legislators to accept much less. Because, well, I said I will persuade them when I become the president. I think it's almost immoral where a Nigerian legislature is earning more than the President of the United States.
Thank you very much, General Buhari. Malam Nuri Badu, how will you correct this anomaly?
As the President of Nigeria, I will change it.
How?
I will make sure, because I make the budget, I send it to the National Assembly. It is my government, though I work with the National Assembly, but it is our responsibility as a president and the team that you have who will lead and then give the direction and the economic chart of the country.
What if they refuse?
I will insist that the resources, the money that we have, will go to growth and development, not just to continue to service government. It is not right. It's not possible for you to continue to take 75% of what you have and continue to just run government. How do I do it? Simple. Today, in this country, you have over 500 agencies and parastatals. We do not need them. We will reduce them. We will make them in a way that they do not have to come around. We do intend to also redirect the economy to the private sector, concessioning, get the private sector to participate.
I'm afraid I've been told that your time is up. I'd like you to take a stab at that question, please, Malam Shekarau.
Problems. Number one is the issue of several leakages along the line, fraud going on. I'm happy my brother Nuhu Ribadu has said there are a lot of multiplication of agencies. With all due respect, I want to say that the agency he headed was one of the agencies that we need not to have, because, you see, I've held the view that federal government has been creating agencies for selfish interest. The EFCC, the ICPC are glorified police stations, because they, if you had pondered the activities of the police, I once heard my brother on TV one day saying, when he was asked, what is the miracle of your performance? He said he had all he wanted in terms of funding. Have you funded the Nigerian police and they have failed to perform? Give them the funding. If you had funded them, they would be able to work. So there are a lot of wastages. We are creating agencies we do not require. And then secondly,
thank you very much, Malam Shekarau. I'm afraid I have to stop you. Thank you. Okay. Now, I'd like to, at this stage of the competition, begin to take questions from members of our audience who've actually written and sent little scripts, and also some of our sponsors. This particular question comes from one of the foundations that supported this debate, the Tony Elumelu Foundation. Basically, the question says, I want to know what the candidates will do to promote entrepreneurship if elected into office. And I'm happy for any one of you to start answering that question. Entrepreneurship. The Tony Elumelu Foundation wants to know what your plans are for promoting entrepreneurship in Nigeria.
I can start. Okay. Thank you. This is the direction. If this economy is going to improve, it has to go the direction of the private sector. The business of government to make an enabling environment for the private sector to really strive, to work hard, and we get the maximum out of our own people. It is the belief of the ACN, and indeed myself and my team, that it is Nigeria, the Nigerian people, that you must invest in. Investing in the people is what is going to address the problems. And the people are in the private sector. So everything that we do is going to be towards investing in the Nigerian people. How do we do that? Make the environment conducive. The government responsibility is to ensure that you have law and order. Make sure that rules and regulations are simplified and they are in a way that can encourage not just Nigerian businessmen, but foreign direct investment to also come in. How do you do that? Change the processes.
I'm afraid, Malam Nuribadu, I have to go for an ad break. I apologize.
You change the customs.
When we come back, graduates that can't write and children who have to carry their chairs to school. We examine the rot in our education system and the cost to the nation after the break.
A world in need of direction. A nation in search of transformation. Benson Idahosa University is raising leaders to lead the change through academic excellence, entrepreneurship, and professionalism. Benson Idahosa University, lead the change.
It's going to be a great week. This week, our business goes national. It's all planned. Monday, our new cars arrive. On Tuesday, our new office is open. We had a little road mishap on Wednesday, but our plan covered that too. Now Friday is our public offer. What? Oh, there was a small burglary at the office on Thursday. But our plan covers that as well. Where are we? Sunday. Our partners from China.
Sometimes life doesn't care what day it is, but things are so much simpler when you have a plan, especially when it's a GT Assure plan. Choose Guaranteed Trust Assurance PLC for life and living.
Vote for nourishment. Vote for Cowbell. Cowbell.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the 2011 NN24 presidential debate. My name is Kadria Ahmed of Next Newspapers. Now, gentlemen, we have a system of public education that produces graduates that are barely literate. What are your plans to give young people the sort of education that you all received? And I'd like to start with General Muhammad Buhari.
Well, there's nothing wrong with our educational system, but we need improvement in the sense that the tertiary institutions, the UBE, the three tiers of government, local, state, and the center, must finance the UBE effectively. And then we try and introduce professional training in terms of whether children are going to be taught to become electricians, plumbers, panel beaters, and those who are able by their talent to go forward to the intellectual side for the tertiary institution, they will be allowed to do so. But the federal government must effectively supervise the financing of the UBE. There are cases where counter-funding is not forthcoming from some of the states and the local government. This is denying Nigerian education. And then there should be more of the trade schools so that children, when they go out, they can be given some amount of money. This can be arranged with banks and other financial institutions according to either geopolitical zones or states.
Wealth. A healthy nation is a wealthy nation. The Action Congress of Nigeria government and my government with my team will certainly bring the best team you can get, because Nigerians are out there, wonderful people. But we will rehabilitate the hospitals. We will rehabilitate the entire healthcare sector. We are going to set up 6 specialist hospitals in this country. The reason is today, any little thing to do with kidney, with heart, with cancer, you just have to get out of this country. Our intention is that in these 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, we are going to create special hospitals, kidney, cancer,
I think I have
heart,
to do the same thing for Mr. Ribadu and
Thank
give
you
him a
very
little
much.
bit more time.
women, children, and neurosurgery. Our reason of doing that is because Nigerians are out there working for others. I want to bring them back. We have specialists. We have the best doctors. In the US today, there are over 5,000 Nigerian specialist doctors. We will do whatever we can do to ensure that they come back, and then they will meet facilities on ground here where they are going to serve their own people. I do intend to do that. We also will engage the private sector. Private sector can play a role in health delivery. We have a now healthcare scheme, insurance. We will strengthen it. It's not bad, but we can do better. We do intend to fund drug manufacturing, not just to say that we are going to stop bad drugs coming into our country. We will create good drugs. We will manufacture them internally in Nigeria. We are not going to wait for a corrupt government official at the border, custom, or the port will allow fake drugs into our own country. We will manufacture them here, and it is possible that we can do it. Those are some of the specific things.
Malam Nuhu, thank you so much. Now, we have to go to an ad break in about 1.5 minutes, but very quickly, there's a question I must put to all of you. Disproportionate amount of leaders we've had in Nigeria have been from the north. Why shouldn't a southerner be the next president of Nigeria? You are all northerners sitting on this stage, and we have to do this very quickly.
Want to start now?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think, you see, one has to look at the records with a very clear perspective. When you talk of Nigerian leaders right from independence, what proportion of it is military, what proportion of it is democratically elected leaders? Because if by any chance, by accident of service, accident of history, you get chains of military people taking over government, and largely they are from the north, that is an accident. It's not, as far as I'm concerned, but when you're talking of the democratically elected people, I think the field should be open. This is democracy. And this is why all of us, I am not contesting simply because I'm a northerner. I am contesting because I know I can do it, and I'm presenting myself to contest. So
thank you very much, Malam Shekara. I have to go for an ad break, and when we come back, we will carry on this conversation from where we stopped.
Okay. Okay.
Join me after the break.
I have it all planned. It's gonna be a great week. Today is my birthday. On Wednesday, it's my wedding anniversary, so I'm planning something special. Oh, I almost forgot. I had a little fire in my office on Tuesday, but I had a plan for that too. Good news, Friday, I'm on leave. Sunday, my wife and I are going on vacation. What? Oh yes, I had a little car accident on Thursday. Don't worry, my plan covers that too. On Sunday, my wife and I are jetting off to the scenic mountains of Obodo Cattle Ranch.
Sometimes life doesn't care what day it is, but things are so much simpler when you have a plan, especially when it's a GT Assure plan. Choose Guaranteed Trust Assurance PLC for life and living.
nourishment. Vote for Cowbell. Cowbell.
Welcome back. You are watching the 2011 NN24 presidential debate in Nigeria's federal capital, Abuja. Now, before the break, we were talking to the candidates about the fact that all of them are northerners seeking to become the next president of Nigeria. It's a shame that the incumbent, who is the only southerner, chose not to be here. But our history is that a disproportionate amount of northerners have led this country. And I was trying to understand whether they thought that morally this was acceptable, or whether really there should be a chance for other parts of the country to lead this nation, as you know some people believe. And Malam Shekarau, if you can just quickly round up, I will give you just 30 seconds, because you were speaking before the break.
Thank you very much. I want to quickly round up. You see, the position I mentioned does not necessarily mean that I do not recognize the need for equity and equitable distribution. You see, unfortunately, PDP has corrupted the word zoning. I would rather use the word balancing. Today, even in the United States, that is almost the Inspector General of Police of democracy, there is balancing. You talk of balancing. You see, balancing meaning giving everybody some sense of belonging and participation. That does not, if today I am a presidential candidate and I say my running mate is from Katsina, you'll say I'm crazy. There has to be this attitude of carrying everybody along. But that does not necessarily mean you are denying others the opportunity to participate in an open democratic system. The presidency has its constituency in every nook and corner of Nigeria. People should be allowed to go and canvass for votes. And if the entire voters of Nigeria decides to pick one person, it's a pity the argument in PDP of zoning has seemed to have created an impression. We need to come out of that. We need to grow out of that. I thought we are gradually getting out of that. People should be talking of who is it rather than where is he coming from.
Thank you very much, Malam Shekarau. Malam Nuhu Ribadu.
Well, Governor Shekarau said it, but it's a little bit even more than that. 50 years after our independence, we are still talking about zone, north, south, east. I think it's time for us to put it aside. We just have to look at this country as one. Poverty, insecurity has no region, has no zone. And those are the problems that is confronting us today. What matters today in our country, I believe, is to get honest, trustworthy, competent leader that is going to address the problems of all Nigerians. You are not going to be a president of one part. You are certainly going to be a president of Nigeria. It is time for us to really put this aside and start looking at Nigeria as one. If you continue to complain, even within the zone, if you are talking about, there is this northeast part of Nigeria, northeast, that has never produced a president. What are you going to talk about it?
Thank you very much, Madam Nuri Ribadu. General Muhammadu Buhari, please.
Well, this zoning problem, we know who brought it. Our party, Congress for Progressive Change, we said our constituency is the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And Nigerians will have the right to choose from all other parties. We are multi-party democracy. And really, it is up to the parties to work hard and earn the respect and the votes of Nigerians. What we are fighting for is free and fair election. Let Nigerians choose whoever they want to represent them and to be their leaders in all the stages, state, federal. There is no point of anybody bringing a question from northeast, I'm from northwest, I'm from southeast, I'm from south-south. Let Nigerians make the decision.
Thank you very much, Muhammad Ibrahim. Now, 4 of you are contesting for this office. There's only one chair.
18.
I said
18.
No, oh, sorry, 4 of you are the front runners contesting for this office. And the incumbent is not here. I'd like to get a sense from the 3 of you on stage of why you think Nigerians should vote for you and not you, and you and not you. What makes you different? Why General Muhammadu Buhari and not Nuhu Ribadu and not Malam Shekarau? Because at the end of the day, it cannot be all 4 of you or the 12 of you or the 18 of you. It's one person.
That is the beauty of democracy, multi-party democratic system. I have drawn a parallel with what happened in the Soviet Union in 1991. A whole empire in the 20th century collapsed without a single shot being fired. Now there are about 80 republics. It is then that I feel that was that one I become a converted democrat, multi-party democratic system, with the biggest caveat that elections must be free and fair. Let the Nigerians decide.
Yes, but why should they decide in your favor and not that of the other candidates? In other words, I'm saying you have a platform, you're talking to Nigerians, tell Nigerians why they should elect you and not all the other candidates, that are standing for the same office.
Okay, if you insist, I will tell Nigerians why I want them to elect me. Under a different system, I have been a governor, 6 states. I have been a petroleum minister for 3.25 years. I have been a head of state. I have been a chairman of PTF. Nigerians know this. I have service to offer. I am offering myself to Nigerians to serve them. And I want a free and fair election.
Madam Nuru Ibabu, why should Nigerians elect you and not General Muhammadu Buhari or Malam Ibrahim Shekarau or even President Goodluck Jonathan?
Yes, because today I stand as the symbol of change. I am the representation of the aspiration of Nigerians today. I am a young person. I am a young man. I belong to the age of leaders who are doing well in the world today. And that is where it matters. I have been in government and I have the experience in the last 25 years. Others have been in retirement in the last 25 years. I am